One night, as I drifted into a deep and dream-filled sleep, I found myself transported to a world that was utterly unfamiliar. It wasn't the buildings, the landscapes, or even the people that seemed strange. It was something much deeper. This was a universe where no one could see. At first, I didn't realize it. I was walking through what seemed like a bustling town square, filled with the usual hum of life, laughter, conversations, footsteps, and even the occasional bark of a dog. But something was off. No one looked at me, no one glanced in my direction, or even seemed aware of the concept of looking. No one could see. Not me, not them, not anyone. I watched, or perhaps felt in this strange world, how people navigated. It wasn't chaotic as I expected. Instead, it was a symphony of sound and touch. People spoke with intention, announcing their presence softly as they moved. Hands reached out instinctively to guide, to connect. In this world, there were no mirrors, no billboards, no flashing lights, and yet I sensed something incredible. No one cared. Appearance held no weight here. A world without judgments. As I wandered, I realized this was a world free of judgment. There were no comparisons of beauty, no envy of wealth flaunted through designer clothes or expensive cars. Status, fashion, and vanity were meaningless. I saw a man in simple, worn-out clothes sharing a warm laugh with someone who, judging by his voice, was likely a wealthy businessman. Here, voices carried the truth of a person's character. A young girl helped an elderly woman cross the street, holding her hand tightly. It wasn't out of pity, but out of an unspoken understanding that everyone needed each other. In this blind world, humanity wasn't divided by race or color. There was no way to perceive such differences, so they simply didn't matter. The lack of sight had made everyone equal. The gift of connection, technology didn't dominate this world. Smartphones didn't exist, nor did the endless scroll of social media. Instead, people truly connected. I stumbled across a group of friends sitting together in a circle, laughing and talking. They weren't distracted by screens or notifications. They were completely present, their words and emotions filling the space with life. I passed by a park where strangers hugged each other in greeting. There were no awkward handshakes or hesitations, just warmth and trust. Physical touch wasn't feared, it was cherished. For the first time I saw, or perhaps understood, what true connection looked like. The absence of ego. Walking further, I encountered something that brought tears to my eyes. A homeless man sat on the steps of a building, sharing a meal with a well-dressed woman. They talked like old friends, their laughter echoing into the air. In this world, wealth didn't separate people. There was no hierarchy. People weren't valued for what they owned, but for the kindness they gave. It struck me that blindness wasn't a curse here. It was a blessing. It forced people to rely on each other, to communicate, to feel. It stripped away the superficial and left only the essence of humanity. A sudden awakening. Just as I was beginning to embrace this world, a loud noise jolted me awake. I opened my eyes, back in my own bed, my heart racing. I felt a deep longing to return to that place, a place where people truly saw each other, even without sight. But as I stepped outside into my own world, I was struck by how different it was. People rushed past each other, heads down, eyes glued to their phones. No one smiled at one another, no one paused to connect. I saw vanity everywhere, giant billboards selling beauty, expensive cars zooming by, and people wearing designer labels as if they were badges of honor. Status and appearance ruled everything. The warmth of the blind universe was gone. The realization. And that's when it hit me. We're the blind ones. We walk through life seeing everything but understanding nothing. We judge people by their appearance, their wealth, their social media following, while ignoring their hearts, their struggles, their humanity. I've never been able to see the world the same way since that dream. It wasn't just a fantasy. It was a glimpse of what we could become if we learned to see differently. Now I live every day trying to bring a little bit of that blind universe into this one. I try to connect with people, to listen, to understand, to see them, not with my eyes, but with my heart. What about you? What do you think? Would living in a blind world be a blessing or a curse? Would we learn to connect more deeply, or would we struggle without sight? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. And one more question. Do you think our world is already blind in its own way?